Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for watching as normal, and please do subscribe if you haven't done already and you enjoyed the reviews. I appreciate the support for everyone out there who has already subscribed. Big thank you goes out to everyone. Let's get into this review then. What we're looking at today is the two new Motorola phones that are released about a couple of weeks back and have been out on the market now for about 2 weeks. We're looking at the Motorola Edge 60 Fusion, which came out first, and the Motorola Edge 60 Pro. Why am I comparing these two phones together? One starts at £299, which is the Edge 60 Fusion. One goes up to £600, the Edge 60 Pro. What I want to do to everyone out there looking at these two phones is to say to you, is it worth paying the £600 for the Pro model, or should you stick with the 60 Fusion? Because actually the Fusion offers excellent value for money, and the Pro offers good features at this price level, even at £600. I'm going to break down the phones for you, tell you about my real world experience with these phones, show you camera examples as normal, and try and help you decide which one you should buy if you're looking at the Motorola phones. Let's get into this review. Stay tuned to find out, are these phones that you should buy and which one should you choose? Let's start off as normal by looking at the design on both phones. Both phones look identical. You can't tell the difference obviously apart from the colour. They are available in different colours. Both are Pantone colours, as Motorola like to partner with Pantone for the calibration on the screens and the colours choices themselves to make them a bit different, stand out, and I like that about Motorola's colours. They are unique and they're nice colours. I got this in the dazzling blue on the 60 Pro. Available in Pantone Shadow and Pantone Grape, so like a purple and a green. I think they're nice colours. I love the blue colour on this, I think it's nice. The 60 Fusion is available in an Ammonite green, can't say it very well, but that's the colour. And Pantone Slipstream, which is like a dark blue. So very similar blue to this, but a bit lighter, a bit darker and a bit more subtle. And that's there's only two colour choices on the 60 Fusion. 3 colour choices on the 60 Pro. In terms of design, as I've mentioned, they are identically designed. They've got the same, they're obviously different hardware inside these phones, that's what makes the price difference, but if you're looking at the design itself, it's got the same screen size, the camera placements are all in the same place, the thinness is about the same, the buttons are all placed in the same place, and the charging ports and microphone. No difference on the design. It's a hands down, it's just a tie on the design. Neither one wins for design, I would say. Because that's how I'm going to do the review. I'm going to say which one wins and which one's better. I think this will help you decide which one, if you're looking at a particular aspect of the phone, like the cameras, for example, or that it might help you in deciding which one to buy. I mentioned £299 for the Fusion and $599 for the Pro. Let's find out in the specifications what you get more on the Pro and what you get less on the Fusion. To start off with, on the 60 Fusion, this is the base model Motorola phone. This is competing with the base model Android phone. I think as a base model phone it is good, and performance is okay actually. It runs on MediaTek's 7300 series CPU. It's very much down at the bottom to mid-range CPU performance. It's not a flagship level CPU in this phone. And it runs on 8GB of RAM, which is a slower type of RAM than the Pro, and 256GB of storage, which is a slower type of memory than the Pro. This is where you start to see specs being cut in the price point here. Do you notice that in real world performance? Most of the time you don't actually. If you're just using this phone for general web browsing, I don't know, occasional light gaming or on non-graphic intensive games, just doing your calendar on it, emails, everything like that, then the 60 Fusion will be fine. Running around the UI, it does feel a bit more, slightly lags a bit on this one compared to the Pro, a little bit, not much, it's not a massive difference. I'll show you side by side in terms of how it performs, and this one is only available in 256GB of RAM. The Pro goes up to 512GB of storage, not RAM storage. You've got double the storage on the Pro as well. You are getting more for your money. You get a faster CPU, you get a faster memory, therefore the phone will be quicker. If you're into gaming, anything like that, and you're doing graphically intensive work on your phone, then I would go for the Pro. 60 Lite, perfect for everyday casual use if you're not too fussed about the phone being the fastest phone in the world, and the 60 Pro if you want that higher spec performance, because it has got MediaTek's 8350 CPU. It's not top of the range MediaTek CPU, but it's going towards the higher end of the range, and you notice it in the everyday use, but actually the 60 Fusion runs well as well. Both phones in terms of everyday usability are great, I would say, but the 60 Pro is the one for people who want to do occasional gaming or more intensive gaming. They will run games on the Fusion, but it does feel slower. Definitely a big bump up in speed on the Pro, faster memory, faster everything like that. It just gives you a bit more for your money. Obviously paying £300 more for the privilege, just decide whether you need that or not, depending on what you use the phone for. Now we've covered the CPU and memory, let's look at the battery performance. The battery on both these phones is quite different. This is where phones do start to differ a bit. I would say The battery on the Motorola 60 Pro is much better than the 60 Fusion. The 60 Pro has a 6,000 milliamp battery, and I think this is one of the best battery phones for battery longevity I've tried. I was getting through a full day on 85% left over, even using the cameras regularly and doing light gaming. I was just initially blown away by the battery on this phone. I think it's, as I say, I think it's the best phone I've used this year for battery. If you want a battery beast phone, then this is it. It even beat the Honor of Magic 7 Lite for me. I think that's meant to be a battery phone, but I think this is better in terms of its battery and all the specs you get on it. I think this Motorola definitely hands down won on the battery side of things. This is a 5,200 milliamp battery. It's not bad at all. It still gives you 52.3 hours of battery life. It's a good battery. It just isn't quite as good as the Pro, but it's not, you'll get you through a day and a half's use easily, but the Pro can easily get to 2 or 3 days. It's amazing. I've not used a phone like this for a long time. It feels like going back to the old days of the old Nokias, for example. In terms of charging speed, the Pro charges at 90 watts it doesn't have a charger included. You need to buy a charger, but at 90 watts, if you've got the turbocharger, 15 watts wireless charging, and then it can do power share as well. On the 60 Fusion, you just get standard 68 watt fast charging, which is really good, really nice to have, and which charges really quickly, but you don't get wireless charging on it. That is where one point they've cut out in this price range. The Pro wins on the battery side of things, is much better than the Fusion. Let's look at the display now. The displays are very similar actually. They're both the same size more or less. One is 6.67 inch, one is 6.7. Technically the Fusion 60 Fusion is smaller by an inch, half an inch, but you don't notice it. I can't really tell unless you put them side by side, then you notice it a little bit, but most of the display technology is very similar. It's the same OLED panels, the same HDR support, same color, wide color gamut, color, everything like that is the same. What you do get difference on the Pro is you get a Pantone validated screen. You don't have that on the Fusion. Color accuracy is meant to be better. You have low blue light mode, it's better for your eyesight. The screen is better on the Pro, technically, but from real world use, I haven't actually noticed it. The panels look similar to me. If you put photos, videos side by side, I'll show you shots, they look identical nearly. Screens, yes, screens on them are both fantastic. OLED screens, no problem though, and I would highly recommend them for their screens because they've got a full screen to body ratio. Only downside on both phones for me is the curved design. You either love it or you hate it. I don't particularly like it. I would go towards the hated side of things because I think you catch it on the side of things. This is where Motorola are still a bit behind is in the curved screen. I would say if you don't like the curved screen design, this is not going to be the phones for you, but it's a real shame because Motorola have built a belter of a phone here on both sides of things, but that's just the only downside on the display. It's a draw really on the display. I haven't noticed any difference in particularly. I know that the Pro's meant to have a better display technically, but actually in real world use, it doesn't actually look that much better. Let's just have a look at the durability of these phones then, because I think that's really important nowadays, and manufacturers at a lower price point are starting to add in things like IP68, 69 ratings, which means the phones are much more long lasting. The 60 Fusion starts off with IP69, 68 rating. It's really, really durable. It's got military grade certification on it. It feels it's built like a tank, Gorilla Glass 7i. I've not had any problems with it scratching. I've used a screen protector on one and not the other. I've not had any issues. The screens themselves and the actual certification is really, really good. It's a vegan leather back on both phones. It's not, they're very similar, just apart from the colours, as you can see here. But it's a nice, I actually like the back of these phones because it feels grippy, so it feels like you could actually use it caseless and not worry about dropping it, which is quite rare these days because they're not glass. As I mentioned, no wireless charging in the 60 Fusion, but you do get it in the 60 Pro. Weight-wise, about 10 grams in it. The Pro is slightly heavier than the Fusion because of the additional hardware in it, but you don't really notice it in everyday use. Now we've gone on, looked at the durability, which is quite similar. Let's look at the cameras, because the cameras are where things start to get different. They both got the same 50 megapixel main camera. So you're going to get very similar results from the main camera. I'll show you shots on both from the main camera. It looks identical, I would say. And the processing's the camera actual use is faster on the Pro than the Fusion because of that faster MediaTek CPU. Just to get a few more things like super zoom, action shot, and stuff like that, which you don't get on the Fusion. If you are into your pictures and your photography and you want a mid-range phone, then the Pro would be the one to go for. On the back of the Motorola 60 Pro, we've got a different camera. So we've got a 50 megapixel ultra-wide camera as well for macro shots, and they've got a 10 megapixel telephoto. So we've got two additional cameras here, which are better than the 60 Fusion. On the Edge 60 Fusion, you get, as I mentioned, the same main camera, but then you get you only get a 13 megapixel ultra wide, so you lose the telephoto lens completely, and you cut down on the from 50 megapixels to 13 on the ultra wide. This is where things start to look a lot worse. So macro shots aren't as good, telephoto zooms aren't as good, and anything like that. But if you just use as the main camera as your main device, you just want to take occasional pictures of your kids or photos of your animals you're out and about, holiday snaps, the 60 Fusion is not bad. It gives you decent camera performance on that main camera, which is the same. You know, it's not a terrible performer. Just one thing to bear in mind: you do lose out on the telephoto and the ultra wide lens. The front cameras, one's a 32 megapixel on the Fusion and it's a 50 megapixel on the Fusion Pro. So that's one thing to bear in mind. The front camera does look quite a lot better on the Pro. For selfies, if you're into selfies taking a lot, then you might want to look at the Fusion Pro. I would definitely say here that the camera award goes to the 60 Fusion Pro because it offers far more camera features for the money, far more better quality selfie camera, and just overall better performance on the speed of using the camera with the faster chip as well. I think, and you've got more storage as well. Altogether, for the additional £200, it kind of starting to make sense to go for the Pro. Even though the Fusion is a great phone, in my opinion, the Pro does actually add a lot more in for the money. In terms of its quality, speakers wise, and microphone performance, very similar. So you've got a Dolby Atmos speakers on both, and the speakers I've heard on the smartphone, but certainly not the worst. You have got high-res audio on the 60 Pro, which is like LDAC playback and lossless audio on the Bluetooth side of things, but you don't get that on the 60 Fusion at $299, which is a shame because you see it on the Nothing phones. And you look at the connectivity side of things, 5G bands are very much more or less the same. You lose Wi-Fi 6E on this Fusion, you get slightly faster Wi-Fi on the Pro. It's not Wi-Fi 7, just to bear in mind, which is the standard on most phones now. If I was looking for a mid-range Android phone, I would look at the Motorola 60 Pro. I think it offers a good blend of performance with its fast, speedy MediaTek CPU. Not the fastest on the market, but certainly not too bad. It's got 3 different color choices. You get 12 gigabytes of high-speed RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. You get 3 quite decent cameras on it, and you get a good screen. For me, for $599, or at the moment, throwing in for a free pair of Moto earbuds, you can often pick it up for discounted at £400 on Amazon, for example. I think it's quite a good bargain. If you've got £150 more to spend on a phone, I would look at the Motorola 60 Pro. I think it just edges it on the 60 Fusion for me in terms of the value for money. £300 to £500. I know it's a £200 jump, but you get much more for your money. I would try and push and go for the Pro if you can. But both phones I liked, and I enjoyed using them, and I like the screen on them. If you just have it for a media consumption device on the bus, on the way home from work, or as a commuter device, the 60 Fusion's fine. It just isn't going to blow you out the water with its specifications and its performance at that price point. There are faster phones available at the price point of $299, which I've covered on the channel before, like the Nothing phone, for example. That's much better at $299. Thank you for watching. I hope that's been helpful if you're looking at which phones to consider. As usual, I will show real world shots on the camera, some video performance, and try and help you decide which one you should buy. I hope you've enjoyed the review. If you haven't, let me know why. Please don't give me a thumbs down. Just let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate that, guys. I'd really appreciate a thumbs up if you have enjoyed the video. And get involved in the comments. Let me know which one you would buy and why. Thank you for watching. I'll speak to you next time.